Hello, Amy Irish guy. Right, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna grade every Premier League club season. Right, let's go. Arsenal A+. Look, this might seem like weird behavior to give a team a very generous A+ when they didn't win a sausage this season. I mean, it's a bit like when your classmate loses the egg and spoon race on your school sports day, and yet the PE teacher still lets him have a free Kit Kat in the back of his car. This seems crazy that I'm giving Arsenal such a lofty scorecard. It would be like the geography teacher giving me full marks in my exam, despite the fact I didn't know where China was, and I thought that Congo was the name of a pediatrician. But no, Arsenal season has been marvelous. Don't forget, they did win something. They lifted the Community Shield in August, which everyone has forgotten all about. To be fair, that trophy is about as prestigious as a pig's toothbrush, but who cares that they finished second in the league? 89 points! Mikel Arteta has overseen 89 points in a single season. Whoever saw that coming when he was losing to Burnley at home? Arteta has taken just 1 point fewer than Arsene Wenger did in that invincible season. Look, I'm used to Arsenal fans having meltdowns over their zombie brain defenders like Mustafi or David Luiz. The fact that the Gunners now officially have the best defensive record in the world's biggest league. What? Lads, if you just ignore that freakish invincible season from 2004, then this would be the most amount of points ever recorded by Arsenal in a single season ever. And it was all masterminded by somebody who's only just turned 42. Yeah, Wenger was 45 when he was still eating sushi in Japan. Aston Villa B. Look, I know that Aston Villa fans are going to be disgusted with this score. They've just crawled back into the Champions League for the first time since the early 80s. And I'm insulting them with just a lowly B? They'd probably sooner eat a bee in a sandwich, letting him sting an ulcer into the roof of their mouth, than accept this one from me. Because this is a disgrace, right? Where's their A? Where's their A? I'm sorry, if you want an A that much, go to a pub in Canada. This is a very good achievement, okay? But this isn't exactly a Leicester City miracle here. It's just a slight improvement on last season by 7 points. That's it. I promise you, that's all it is. I mean, when Newcastle qualified for the Champions League last season, that was just a season after a very real relegation battle. That was an improvement by over 20 points. But Villa, this is just a gradual climb. And let's be real, you were massively helped by Tottenham's collapse. Right, so Spurs finished the season with relegation form, 5 defeats from the final 7 games. If Tottenham had won just even one of those matches, then they would have qualified for the Champions League, not Villa. Also, you really did bottle a European semi-final against a team from Greece. The Conference League was something Villa should have won with ease. I mean, Christ, with West Ham had lifted it the year before. So, sorry lads, but I also don't like the heavy defeats in that season. You bookended the season in truly horrible fashion. I don't think a team has ever started and ended the season so badly before in their life. Conceding 5 at Newcastle on the opening day, and then conceding 5 at Crystal Palace on the final day. That's a bit like turning up to watch a film. I don't care if the bulk of it is a Scorsese masterpiece. If the opening scene is watching someone's constipated grandmother grimacing on the toilet, and then if the final scene is just a deleted scene from The Human Centipede, then I'm not gonna like that film. Bournemouth C. Look, I think Andoni Iraola is a truly masterful coach, yes. And yeah, I do want to break into his house and lick all his coffee cups, but this cherry season has actually been a slight case of frustration for me, because I know the potential of this project can do much better than 12th, failing to win the first 9 league games of the season. Just weeks before they then take 18 points from a possible 20. Then there's a run of 7 games without a win, and then, it's back to winning 4 out of 5. That tells you all you need to know about the inconsistency of the squad. This must be like how Gabriel Bottlehore's mum must have felt. So much potential in there, but so lazy at times. Look, it's still been a good season, but you can do more. Brentford D. If I'm a Brentford fan, then I am worried, because this is a sort of slimy, stale season that a team goes through before they are eventually relegated. I mean, to be fair, Southampton had about 4 of those before they eventually went down. But Brentford, it's actually amazing how they didn't spend a single second in the relegation zone this season, because they've been largely garbage. They've lost 19 games in the league. Their marquee signing, Ireland centre-back Nathan Collins, has looked a bit like Boomsong after hitting a bag of chips. Any team that records less than 40 points in a Premier League season, they're essentially relying on other teams to be worse than them. To me, if I'm a Brentford supporter, then I am not happy, and I'm massively worried. Brighton D. This has been a massive backward step for Brighton. Don't forget, last season, they somehow finished 6th. The fact they now anticlimactically crawled into 11th, finishing in the bottom half of the table. For a team who were in the Europa League this season, that is embarrassing, especially after beginning the season with a freakish 5 wins from 6. If they hadn't begun the season with lightning Champions League form, then the Seagulls would have finished about 15th. It shows just how poor they've been that nobody really cares that Roberto De Zerbi is now free and single. I mean, back in September, most football fans were salivating over him as if his head was a juicy hamburger. Well, lads, is there any more validation for me not buying into the Brighton hype that now both Graham Potter and De Zerbi are out of work? All an ambitious chairman needs to do is invite them for brunch at Starbucks, and you could have either of them, but nobody is really making a move. Now they're both unwanted geeks who are probably going to have to sign up to the local chess club to make some friends. The fact that Brighton not even put 2 successive wins together since September. Sorry, but that is a disgrace. They had a good Europa League group stage, so that has provided good memories for the fans, but everything else, yuck. If I were them, just go get Potter back, because Kieran McKenna, I mean, if he chooses to ditch Ipswich Town for, let's be honest, something that is a much smaller club, then I will chuck 7 raw salmons in my mouth. Burnley F. Awful. Just dreadful. I like Vincent Kompany, I really do. But even I cannot defend 19th in the league and 24 measly points. Everyone has been laughing at Sheffield United's defence this season. And rightly so, but Burnley have also conceded nearly 80 times. That is pretty dreadful. Sorry, Burnley, but this is an obvious F on your scorecard. Now your mum is going to take your Xbox and make you eat cat food for a week. What, just mine? Chelsea A. I know that Aston Villa fans are going to complain and appeal against this decision. They have just reached the promised land of Champions League football, and yet they are getting a lower score than the team who just finished 6th in the league, less than 2 years after being champions of the world? Well, yes, because no club in the Premier League has had a bigger improvement on last season than Chelsea. 19 points. A year ago, Chelsea finished 12th, just 10 points clear of the relegation zone. It was a bloated, unmotivated dressing room full of unwanted rubbish. I mean, last summer saw the complete breakup of their Champions League winning squad, seeing Kovacic, Mendy, Havertz, Loftus-Cheek, Kante, Mount, Azpilicueta and Pulisic walk out the door. The fact that Pochettino then reached a League Cup final and an FA Cup semi-final and snuck into 6th, having lost just 1 of the final 50 league games. Since February, Chelsea have produced title-winning form. The fact that Chelsea have finished above 2 teams who are in the Champions League this season, amazing. Crystal Palace C+. Crystal Palace have just finished in the top half of the Premier League for the first time since 2015. Oh, well done! Look, they put 49 points on the board, which is their joint highest total in Premier League history. Look, it's actually quite weird how Palace have consistently put up a points total in the 40s in each of the last 11 Premier League seasons, but the impact Oliver Glasner has had, it is ridiculous. He is like the anti-Frank de Boer. I mean, when that highly rated Dutchman rocked up at Saunders Park in 2017, it's like he infected his players with the bubonic plague. They couldn't score a goal and lost every match. But with Glasner, 6 wins from the final 7 games, beating 5 clubs who are in European competition this season. They have scored 23 goals in the last 8 league games. This is a frightening Palace team. It's just a shame the other 2/3 of the season were spoiled by Roy Hodgson. Everton B. Hands up. How many people thought that Everton would be relegated this season? And especially when they were given an initial 10-point points deduction in before Christmas. Well, Sean Dyche, he never panicked. Out of all of the managers in the league this season, this gruff bloke has arguably had the coolest and calmest head. Most other managers would have started whimpering like claustrophobic squirrels when the Toffees failed to win 13 games in a row from December until April. Most managers would have been hyperventilating with a McDonald's paper bag and snapping at their wife at home, terrified that they were going to lose their job. Well, not Dyche. No, instead, he rolled up his sleeves and just ended the season with 5 home wins in a row without conceding a goal. That is not easy. Especially not when that same defence just conceded 6 at Stamford Bridge for Dyche and Everton to keep their heads. If there was no points deduction, they'd have finished what? 12th? Fulham C. Fulham went from 52 points last season to 47 this time. It's a slight drop off, but considering that they lost their absolute focal point talisman goal machine Alexander Mitrovic last summer, something that could have completely derailed the club, then it ain't bad. They've steadied the ship fairly well. It's grand. Liverpool B+. Look, Jurgen Klopp has not left Liverpool off the back of an A-star season. No, this is not his best work, but it's still been a quality season. They finished 3rd in the league, yes, but they're only less than 10 points off the title. For any team languishing in the Europa League to then get within 10 points of the actual league title, that is impressive stuff. Look, they ran out of steam towards the end, sure, but it wasn't a monster implosion. They only actually lost twice in the title run-in. To me, the big failure of the season was the Europa League. They should have won that. The fact that Klopp is not bowing out with a European trophy in Dublin, that is poor, really poor, and has completely spoiled the season. Dublin would have been red. It would have been absolutely special. Do you know how many Liverpool fans there are in Ireland? So that was a bottle job, but hey, you did win the League Cup, so that is something. Yeah, I'll give you a B+. Luton Town E. Look, Luton Town have been massively talked up this season, but let's be real. Their mission was to stay up. They failed. I am not giving you a D for putting 26 points on the board. If Nottingham Forest had no points deduction, Luton would be relegated by a clear 10 points. That is failure. I'm not rewarding you with a pass for that. Look, a lot is made about Sheffield United's hilariously bad defence, but don't forget, Luton have conceded 85 goals. That is just 4 fewer than Derby County in 2008, the worst Premier League team of all time. Sorry, Luton, but fail. Man City A. Look, Man City won a 4th Premier League title in a row. Any team who sticks more points on the board than Arsenal's invincible. Oh, they've had a great season. It's actually mad how Jurgen Klopp did that 3 times and only actually came away with the league title once. But lads, Man City are going to win a League and Cup double. It's still a slight disimprovement on last season's perfect treble. Oh, come on, it's still great. Man United F. Awful. Absolutely dreadful. 8th. In the Premier League for Manchester United. Are you serious? Man United reached a stupidly low rock bottom ebb in 2014, right? David Moyes somehow oversaw 7th in the league, but this is worse. Imagine being told back then when Moyes was fired that an entire decade down the line, they'd be finishing even lower with Erik ten Hag. I mean, to be fair, nobody would have a clue who that bloke was. Back then, he was the coach of Bayern Munich's B team. To be fair, that's kind of fitting though. Pep Guardiola was the manager of the Bayern Munich A team. How on earth do Manchester United expect to catch Man City when City took the A manager whilst they get their grubby hands on the boss of the reserves? Look, Man United have reached an FA Cup final, so you might think that an FA is harsh, but is it? You finished rock bottom of an easy Champions League group. Copenhagen qualified from that. The team who won the group finished 3rd in the Bundesliga. Man United have also lost 14 league matches. They've lost to Crystal Palace twice by an aggregate score of 5-0. They let Bournemouth score 3 without reply on their own turf. I don't care about the injuries. It's been a disgrace. If Erik ten Hag survives with his job after the most gruesome of seasons, it's a joke. Newcastle B. Look, if Manchester United win the FA Cup final this week, then Newcastle will end the season with no European football at all, which is harsh, but still, no. It has still been a very impressive season for Newcastle. It has, priced above. This is a team who were nearly relegated 2 years ago under Steve Bruce and even Rafa Benitez before him. They were the most laboured, boring, uninspiring outfit. Just sluggish 0-0 draws at James's Park at least once a month. Honestly, it wasn't too long ago. They were drawing 0-0 at home with Norwich in the cold and letting Norwich have more possession. But this season, they scored in every single home match. They scored 85 goals in a Premier League season, the most amount of goals they've scored in a single season for over 50 years. This team scores more goals than the title-challenging entertainers side under Kevin Keegan in the mid-90s. Yes, they have been defensively garbage at times this season, but to have put 85 goals on the board and to have scored over 100 goals in all competitions, I never thought I'd see the day. Don't forget, they also stuffed Sunderland in the Tyne-Wear derby. Yes, the Champions League group stage knocked the stuffing out of Newcastle over the Christmas months when there was that awful relegation run of form, but otherwise, 85 goals in the league is monstrous. They deserve European football after that. And you know what? They would win the Conference League with ease. Nottingham Forest D. I mean, they stayed up, I guess. Yes, Nottingham Forest have scraped a pass, but it's still been a pretty poor season. Come on. They have enough talent in the squad to finish higher than 17th. Sheffield United NG. Do people have NGs in England? We definitely did in Irish schools. It's when an exam is so bad that the teacher can't even be bothered to give you a grade. It's usually reserved for the hopeless pupils who choose to sign their name and then put their head on the paper and sleep. I had a school chum who regularly got NGs on his grades. His name was Glass Eye. I hope he's still alive. But yes, a no grade is even worse than an F. Oh, I'm giving that to Sheffield United because their season has been utter poison. Tottenham B. Look, Tottenham finished a point behind Aston Villa last season. They've now finished 2 points behind Aston Villa this season. Both clubs have grown together and just steadily moved up the league, taking advantage of the Brighton implosion. This is not a huge improvement on paper for Spurs. They're only 6 points better off than they were a year ago, but considering they had to deal with losing their Superman, Harry Kane, then to finish 5th, it's very decent, actually. West Ham C-. I don't know how West Ham finished top half. I really don't. Because when they were bad, they were awful. Come on, losing 5-0 at Fulham, conceding 6 at home to Arsenal. Somehow losing at Newcastle despite being 3-1 up with 20 minutes left on the clock. Letting in 5 at Crystal Palace and then 5 at Chelsea. Conceding 5 at Anfield in a League Cup quarter-final. Being booed out of the FA Cup at Bristol City. I am in awe of how West Ham squeaked into 9 because they've been largely awful. To me, they almost warrant a D-. But you can't argue with the top half, so C-, I guess. Wolves C. Well, Gary, you didn't get relegated, so I guess you win this one. Anyway, that's it. What would you give your team? What grade? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.